Okay, let's unpack this. You know that moment when you look around your living space and think, this could be so much better?
Hmm.
But then the sheer volume of choices, paint colors, furniture styles, even where to put a lamp feels like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Oh, absolutely. It gets overwhelming fast.
You're definitely not alone.
Uh,
Even seemingly small home design projects can quickly become, well, a lot.
yeah.
But what if there was a clear, structured approach to navigate this? A way to move from those initial hazy ideas to a space that genuinely works and feels like yours?
Well, what's fascinating here is realizing that successful interior design isn't just about aesthetics, you know? It's a deliberate journey, a
This
refinement.
journey, I like that.
Yeah, think of it as moving from a general concept to a highly specific blueprint. It anticipates not just how a space looks, but how it functions.
I know, it makes you feel, right?
Exactly, how it makes you feel.
And that's precisely what we're diving deep into today. Our source material is Home, the Foundations of Enduring Spaces from the New York School of Interior Design.
Great source.
Now, don't let school in the title make you think this is some dry lecture. It's actually a treasure trove of practical wisdom.
Very practical.
And our mission today is to extract the core principles guiding that refinement process, specifically how a design concept evolves from those first sparks of inspiration to the really granular
The
specifications.
nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, the details that ultimately define the success of your space.
And if we connect this to your experience, listener, understanding this evolution is incredibly empowering.
How so?
Well, whether you're collaborating with a professional designer or tackling a refresh on your own, recognizing the stages
Okay.
and the level of detail involved, you can make the whole process feel less daunting.
Right. Less like that fire hose.
Exactly. And it significantly increases the chances of a truly satisfying outcome.
So imagine this. The initial client meeting goes well. They say, yes, I like the overall direction.
The green light, sort of.
You might think, great, we're on our way. But here's a crucial point where the initial vision truly starts to take a more concrete form.
This is key.
The book explains how the design evolves from broad strokes, say, I envision a round dining table,
Okay, general idea.
to incredibly precise selections, like specifying a 60-inch Aero-Syrian table with a black marble top. Very specific.
And this progression from the general to the specific isn't just about being picky,
No.
It ensures that the scale and style of every single element truly harmonizes with the overall vision.
Ah, so it all fits together.
Right. And it avoids those costly mismatches later on. What's fascinating is the sheer scope of decisions that follow.
It's not just the big stuff.
Not at all. It's not solely about the major furniture pieces. It extends to the seemingly minor details, like the precise height and shape of the baseboards.
Baseboards, really?
Oh, yeah. And the exact placement of electrical outlets to suit your needs.
Right down to selecting the very specific shade of paint, the precise weave and texture of the fabric for those accent pillows.
Every little thing.
The level of thoroughness is almost breathtaking when you stop to consider it.
And this meticulousness is vital for crafting a space that feels both cohesive and truly functional.
Okay.
Each of these seemingly small choices contributes significantly to the overall ambiance and usability of the room.
So once all these specific details are ironed out and the client gives the final go-ahead on this refined design scheme, what's next?
Well, the next phase is all about creating a clear roadmap for execution documentation.
Documentation. Sounds official.
It is, in a way. The book discusses the creation of final detailed floor plans and furniture layouts.
Okay.
It's like translating the conceptual drawing into a precise set of instructions for everyone involved.
Gotcha. So everyone's on the same page.
This documentation stage is absolutely critical for clear communication and accurate execution. These final plans act as a shared reference point,
So the client, the designer,
and any tradespeople involved are all operating from the same understanding. No guesswork.
and it's not just about drawings, is it? The book mentions purchase orders, too.
Right. Purchase orders for all the selected furniture and those custom designed elements are issued at this stage.
Okay.
But it highlights a really key aspect: collaboration. If the project involves any structural changes.
That moving walls.
Exactly. This is when the designer works very closely with architects and other licensed professionals to ensure everything is safe and up to code.
That makes sense. You need the experts involved for that.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
If we connect this to larger renovation projects, this collaboration is essential.
Right.
It ensures that the aesthetic vision is not only realized, but also that it's structurally sound and adheres to all relevant building regulations.
And if the project is substantial, involving things like moving walls or completely redoing bathrooms,
Right.
does the designer help find a contractor?
Often, yes. They'll assist the client in getting bids from general contractors, GCs.
Okay.
Apparently, they utilize something called bid sheets, which help in comparing the different proposals in a standardized way, apples to apples.
Ah, bid sheets. That sounds useful for making a fair comparison.
It's a powerful tool for ensuring transparency in the bidding process.
Okay.
By providing a consistent format for contractors to present their costs and scope of work, it allows the client to make a much more informed decision.
Based on comparable information. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. So the detailed plans are complete, the contractors are chosen, and now the exciting part, actually bringing the design to life.
This is where the action happens.
This is when the designer is really juggling things, right? Managing the purchase of all those precisely specified fabrics and furnishings.
Yep, all the orders.
Commissioning any custom-made pieces, and even bringing in specialized consultants for things like AV systems or intricate lighting designs.
This is where the designer's organizational and coordination skills truly come into play. It's about managing a multitude of suppliers,
Must be complex.
ensuring everything is ordered correctly and adheres to the project timeline, and meticulously overseeing the creation of those unique custom elements.
And the designer's role doesn't end once the orders are placed, does it?
Not at all. If there's construction underway, they're actively reviewing all the architectural blueprints.
Checking against the design plan.
Exactly. Making sure everything aligns with the interior design intent. They're conducting regular site visits to check progress and address any unforeseen issues.
Things always pop up, I imagine.
Always. They're managing the various skilled tradespeople, and then, right at the very end, creating that all-important punch list.
The punch list, that sounds important. What is it?
It's the final rundown of any outstanding items that need attention before the project is considered complete.
Ah, the last little fixes.
That punch list is the ultimate quality control measure. It guarantees that all aspects of the design and construction have been executed to the agreed-upon standards.
And gives you a chance to fix anything that's not quite right.
Precisely. A final opportunity to rectify any remaining discrepancies.
Now, all this detailed planning might sound like a significant undertaking.
It definitely is.
And you'd be right. But the book emphasizes that a successful project, regardless of its scale, even if you're just updating a single room, begins long before you're looking at paint swatches.
Way before that.
It starts with a thorough initial analysis that designers refer to as programming or pre-design.
Programming or pre-design.
Yeah. Think of it like creating a detailed roadmap before you start driving. It prevents wrong turns.
Saves time, saves hassle.
And ensures you reach your desired destination efficiently, saving time and potential frustration down the line.
This pre-design phase is truly the bedrock upon which the entire project is built.
The foundation.
Absolutely. Without a clear and comprehensive understanding of the project's goals, the user's needs, and the existing conditions, the likelihood of missteps,
Things going wrong.
and ultimately, a less than satisfactory outcome, increases dramatically.
The book provides a compelling example. David Scott's design for an oceanfront home.
Ah, yes, beautiful project.
His entire decorative approach was deeply rooted in the site itself, striving for a harmonious balance between open, airy spaces and more intimate enclosures.
Especially in that stunning double-height living area.
Yeah. He achieved this in part by using textured finishes that subtly echoed the natural elements of the nearby beach.
What's insightful about this example is how the surrounding environment itself becomes a powerful catalyst for the design concept.
So look outside the walls.
Exactly. It underscores the importance of considering the context of the space, not just its physical dimensions, when developing the overall vision.
And the book really drills down on some fundamental questions that both you, the homeowner, and the designer should explore right at the outset.
Key questions.
To clearly define the project's parameters, the first one seems simple enough. Who will be using this space?
Seems simple, but it's deep.
They delve much deeper than just counting the number of people, don't they?
Oh, yeah. This question is about truly understanding the nuances of how each individual will interact with the space. It involves considering everyone who might inhabit or regularly use the area, from children and pets to caregivers or extended family.
So not just the main residents.
Right. The specific needs of empty nesters, for instance, will be vastly different from those of a young family with toddlers.
Totally different lifestyles.
And even a teenager's bedroom renovation should consider how their parents might occasionally need to access this space.
Good point. And the next question is something you might not immediately think about, but it's incredibly important. How should the space address the psychological needs of its inhabitants?
This is a fascinating aspect of design. Our physical surroundings have a profound, often subconscious impact on our emotional well-being.
Really? How so?
Well, our inherent desires for privacy, personal space, and connection to natural light and the outdoors.
Things we all kind of crave.
Exactly. These are all critical factors that thoughtful design anticipates and actively supports. It makes you feel better.
And in our increasingly connected world, you also have to ask, what technology will be integrated into the space?
Oh, huge one these days.
We're talking about everything from security systems and smart home automation to sophisticated entertainment setups.
Wi-Fi routers, charging stations.
All those elements that require touch panels, routers, and careful wiring. Planning for this in advance is absolutely key.
You can't just tack it on later. Well, you can, but it looks terrible.
Right. This proactive approach prevents those awkward afterthoughts where you're trying to run wires across finished walls. It helps you integrate it seamlessly, maybe even hide it.
Thinking about technology integration from the outset allows for a much more considered and functional design. It avoids those ugly, disruptive, last-minute additions.
Okay, so once you have a solid understanding of who will be using the space and their various needs, the next crucial step is to thoroughly examine the existing space itself.
What you're starting with.
What the book aptly refers to as the givens. This involves a detailed analysis of the architectural framework you're starting with.
Right.
And one of the first things they highlight is the scale of a room elements like ceiling height and existing moldings.
The bones of the room.
And how these fundamentally influence the desired atmosphere. Cozy, formal.
The pre-existing architectural features exert a significant influence on the potential of a space. As the book points out, Frank Lloyd Wright
Famous architect.
masterfully manipulated this. He often used low entryways to create a dramatic sense of spaciousness upon entering a room with high ceilings.
Oh, interesting, like compression and release.
Exactly. These fundamental aspects of the space aren't easily altered, so a thorough understanding of them is paramount.
Then they delve into specifics, starting with the floors. It's not just identifying the material, is it?
No, you need to examine the existing pattern, the color, and critically, the current condition.
Condition is key.
They emphasize how even the subtle sheen of the floor and its texture underfoot can contribute significantly to the overall impression of the room.
And I suppose the condition affects what you can do next.
Absolutely. The condition of the existing flooring can also significantly impact the choices for new treatments. A damaged subfloor might require extensive repair before new tile or hardwood can be installed properly.
Adds cost and time. Okay, next up. The walls.
Walls. Big surface area.
The book stresses the importance of determining how the walls are currently finished, are they painted, and if so, how many layers?
Sometimes you find surprises under there.
Are they smooth, or are there imperfections like bumps and cracks? And if there's existing wallpaper, you need to look underneath.
Absolutely. You absolutely need to inspect underneath for any signs of water damage or other issues.
Right, because the condition of the walls will largely dictate the types of treatments you can realistically consider.
And the amount of prep work required. Applying delicate, high-end wallpaper, for instance, necessitates a flawlessly smooth surface.
Which means plastering, sanding.
Can involve considerable cost and effort to achieve that perfect base.
This emphasis on proper preparation seems absolutely key.
It really is. A truly impeccable finish on any surface, whether it's paint or wallpaper, is heavily reliant on the quality and condition of the underlying substrate.
The surface underneath.
Yeah. Skipping this crucial step can often lead to disappointing and costly results down the line. Bubbles, peeling, not good.
And let's not forget the ceiling, often overlooked maybe.
Definitely. The book advises documenting any existing treatments, things like coves, tin tiles, even those textured popcorn ceilings.
Oh, the popcorn ceilings.
Yeah, those. If your vision includes a luxurious high-gloss paint, or even something as opulent as gold leaf,
Fancy.
the ceiling will likely need to be meticulously plastered and sanded to an almost glass-like smoothness. Lots of trap.
And here's a practical tip they mention. Checking if you can even recess lighting.
Crucial point. Especially in apartments or condos, many have concrete ceilings where recessing lights isn't feasible.
So you need a plan B.
Right. You might need to explore alternative lighting solutions like pendant lights, track lighting, or even consider a drop ceiling in some cases, though that lowers the height.
Identifying these inherent structural limitations early in the process, that sounds like it saves headaches later.
It can save you a significant amount of potential frustration, unexpected costs, and design compromises later on. Know your limits.
Okay, so you've thoroughly assessed the space itself, the givens. Now comes the phase where you take a detailed inventory of what you already own.
Your existing belongings. What are you bringing into this?
The book strongly recommends itemizing, carefully measuring, and even taking photographs of your current furniture and accessories.
Pictures are super helpful.
You'll want to note their material: wood, metal, fabric, their color, and their overall condition. Good shape, needs repair.
And this should include everything from rugs and lamps to decorative accessories and artwork. Don't forget the small stuff.
Why is this inventory process so important?
Well, it serves several crucial purposes. It helps you determine which pieces you might want to keep and integrate into the new design.
Keep, toss, or redo.
Yeah. Exactly. Which could potentially be repurposed or reupholstered, and which you might decide to part with. It provides a vital starting point.
Understanding what you already have to work with.
Precisely.
For areas like kitchens and libraries, they suggest it's less about counting every single fork or book,
Thank goodness.
and more about getting an accurate sense of the overall quantities, for example, estimating the linear feet of shelving you'll need for your books.
Right. Practical capacity.
And when it comes to upholstered furniture, the details really matter. You need to measure not just the overall height and footprint length and width, including arms and back,
The whole thing.
but also pay attention to the depth of the seat cushions. They even guide you on measuring tricky things like angled seat backs and roll arms.
These precise measurements are absolutely crucial when you start planning furniture layouts.
To make sure it actually fits.
Right. And ensuring that any new pieces you select will fit comfortably and proportionally within the available space. It also gives you a clearer understanding of the true physical scale of your existing items. Sometimes things feel bigger or smaller than they measure.
And here's a little detail I found particularly insightful. The book advises noting if the backs of your cabinets are different from the front.
Oh yeah, that happens. Sometimes they're unfinished.
And also whether your cabinets can sit completely flush against a wall. Some have, like a lip or something.
Right, or the baseboard gets in the way. These seemingly minor details can actually have a significant impact on installation and the final appearance.
Good to know. So how do you keep track of all this info? Measurements, photos, conditions?
Organization is key. The book strongly recommends compiling it all in a binder, whether a physical one or a digital file system.
Like a project hub.
Exactly, with a dedicated section for each room. They even suggest that a simple notebook can work perfectly well for smaller projects.
Doesn't have to be fancy.
No. Each existing furnishing should have its own page or entry with a photograph, a brief description, its exact dimensions, and maybe a fabric sample if you have one.
Very thorough.
They emphasize that this comprehensive record will be invaluable throughout the entire design process, especially during construction, delivery, and final installation.
And you add to it as you go.
Yeah, as you start to select new furnishings, you simply add their specification sheets, tear sheets they call them, to your growing binder.
Okay, that makes sense. A central place for everything.
This well-organized system acts as the central hub of information for your entire project. It ensures that you and anyone you're working with has easy access to all the necessary details.
All right, so you've got a clear picture of who will be living in the space, you've thoroughly analyzed the existing architectural framework, and you've inventoried your current belongings. Now comes the exciting phase, defining your vision.
The concept.
Choosing an overarching design concept. The book explains that this core concept is the guiding principle that will inform every single design decision you make moving forward.
It's the North Star for the project.
It often emerges from carefully analyzing the initial project brief, the client's stated goals and desires, and the unique characteristics of the space itself.
The design concept provides the essential framework for the entire project. It's the underlying narrative
The story.
that weaves together all the individual design elements, creating a space that feels cohesive, intentional, and deeply meaningful.
They provide some great examples. A home nestled in a beautiful natural setting might inspire a concept centered around bringing the outdoors in.
Using natural materials, earthy colors.
Yeah, a palette drawn from the landscape. Or a sleek urban apartment with expansive city views might suggest a more structured, grid-like organization.
Maybe focusing on modern materials like glass and steel, reflecting the cityscape.
They even mention that a single source of inspiration, like a cherished piece of art or a favorite color, can serve as the initial spark for the entire design concept.
That happens a lot. A rug, a painting.
This idea of a central concept is absolutely vital, isn't it?
It really is. It prevents the design from feeling random or disjointed and ensures that every choice you make contributes to a unified and compelling vision.
And speaking of creating a positive feeling within a space, the book touches on several design elements known to enhance our well-being.
The psychological side again,
For instance, they mention how spaces that are enclosed on three sides but offer a long, open view feel particularly comforting and secure.
like a cozy nook looking out.
You can strategically create that through thoughtful furniture arrangements or built-in seating, like a window seat.
These types of design elements tap into our fundamental human needs for both security, the enclosure, and a connection to the outside world, the view.
Makes sense. Contributes to a greater sense of peace.
And well-being within the space.
They also highlight the crucial role of maximizing natural daylight.
So important.
Through careful window placement, maybe even removing non-load-bearing interior walls to let light flow more freely.
Open things up.
Apparently, capturing that ever-changing quality of natural light, whether it's direct sun or soft, dappled illumination, can have a profoundly tranquil effect.
Oh, absolutely. The connection to natural light has been extensively studied. It's shown to have significant psychological benefits, improved mood, reduced stress.
Even helps sleep.
Yeah, it helps regulate our natural sleep-wake cycles. Good light is good for you.
Here's another interesting point. The calming effect of the site, or even just the sound of running water.
Like a fountain or a view of a lake.
Whether it's that beautiful view or a thoughtfully designed indoor water feature, and I particularly like this one, incorporating floral and leaf patterns in textiles.
Biophilic design, basically.
And simply having live plants within a space can actively encourage feelings of repose and relaxation.
These elements effectively bring a sense of the natural world indoors, which has been consistently linked to feelings of calmness, rejuvenation, and overall well-being. Nature is calming.
Ultimately, the book emphasizes that a well-designed interior should strike a balance
A balance between what?
between promoting restfulness and maintaining visual interest. You achieve that through a thoughtful variety of materials, motifs, and design treatments that engage the eye without being chaotic.
This careful balance is key.
Yeah.
You want a space that is not only comfortable and inviting, but also stimulating and engaging.
So, not sterile, but not overwhelming either.
Exactly. Preventing it from feeling either sterile and uninspired or overly chaotic and overwhelming is a sweet spot.
Now, when you're truly analyzing a space, it goes beyond just taking measurements, right?
Way beyond.
You need to consider how the windows are perceived. Are they a continuous horizontal band, individual vertical slots, or maybe large picture windows framing a specific view?
How do they shape your experience of the outside?
You also want to identify the inherent spatial hierarchy as one area clearly intended to be more dominant or important.
Is there a main event in the room?
And where are the natural focal points?
Yeah.
A striking built-in feature, that captivating window view, or traditional fireplace.
Understanding these existing architectural characteristics helps you work with the space, not against it.
Highlight its best features.
Right. Strategically highlight its most appealing features in your design.
And crucially, you need to thoroughly analyze the spatial flow and access. Where are the doorways?
How do people move through the room?
How do these openings naturally direct foot traffic? Poorly placed doors can really disrupt furniture placement
Makes it feel like a hallway.
and make a room feel more like a passageway than a destination. The book even brings up a classic design dilemma: sofa against the wall, or floating.
Ah, the floating sofa question. It can help define different zones and avoid blocking a key entryway, but needs space.
Efficient spatial flow is absolutely essential then.
For creating a living environment that is both functional and comfortable, thoughtful consideration of doorway placement and circulation patterns can make a profound difference in how a space feels and functions daily.
What about those less than ideal architectural elements we sometimes inherit, especially in rentals where you can't just rip things out?
Yeah, awkward columns, weird bulkheads.
The book suggests that even without major renovations, you can often mitigate these awkward features through clever decorative strategies.
Smoke and mirrors, sort of.
Kind of. The strategic use of paint or wallpaper can help to visually smooth over clunky columns or disguise obtrusive beams, camouflage them. And here's a somewhat counterintuitive tip for small rooms: hanging draperies as high as possible.
Right up to the ceiling or just below. creates an illusion of height.
And even incorporating a few carefully chosen, slightly oversized furniture pieces
Hmm.
that can make a small space feel larger seems weird.
It does sound counterintuitive, but it can work. Instead of lots of tiny things, a few well-scaled larger pieces can make the room feel more grounded and intentional, surprisingly more spacious.
Interesting. These are ingenious visual techniques then.
Exactly. Techniques designers employ to subtly manipulate the perception of space and address inherent architectural challenges without costly construction.
Okay, let's dive into the often mysterious world of color. Crafting a cohesive color scheme can feel incredibly daunting,
It's where a lot of people get stuck.
but the book offers a helpful framework. They explain that while experienced color experts can certainly bend or even break the rules, most successful interior color schemes tend to fall into identifiable categories.
Based on hue intensity and relationships on the color wheel.
And a really important distinction they make, these guidelines primarily apply to the actual materials and finishes,
Paint, fabric, flooring.
not to the way that different types of illumination light bulbs, sunlight, can alter our perception of color.
That's a whole other layer, how light affects color. But understanding these fundamental color principles provides a solid foundation for creating harmonious palettes.
First up is the monochromatic color scheme.
Using just one color family.
Right. Using a single base color, but incorporating a range of its values from very light tints to deep, rich shades, often supplemented by neutrals for balance.
Like different shades of blue, plus maybe some white or gray.
The book suggests you typically need at least 5 or 6 distinct values of the same color to prevent the room from feeling flat.
Need that variation.
And the closer the values are, the more important it becomes to introduce visual interest through varied patterns and textures.
Texture becomes huge in monochromatic schemes. Think velvet, linen, rough wood, all in shades of the same color.
Monochromatic rooms often have an inherent sense of unity and can create a very focused, serene atmosphere, like tranquil beige on beige schemes.
Or they can be incredibly dramatic, like that famous all-red room Billy Baldwin did for Diana Vreeland. Bold.
Wow. So the success really lies in the layering.
Absolutely. The skillful layering of different textures and varying shades and tints of the base color to create depth, visual interest, and sophistication.
The book also emphasizes the often overlooked importance of middle values within a color palette.
Midtones. Not light, not dark.
Apparently, these mid-tone colors act as the essential glue that holds the entire scheme together.
How so?
They prevent it from feeling too jarring or creating high contrast effects. A well-chosen medium value provides a crucial visual bridge between the lighter and darker elements.
Ah, okay. Smooths the transitions.
Mm.
Middle values contribute significantly to the overall sense of visual balance and create a smoother flow, resulting in a more harmonious space.
And of course, we can't forget the vital role of neutrals.
Can't live without neutrals.
The book stresses that almost every interior design needs them. You can't simply layer color upon color without a grounding element.
Need somewhere for the eye to rest.
Neutrals are those nearly achromatic shades, soft taupes, creamy echris, cool understated browns,
Grays, off-whites.
and they are particularly essential for creating a sense of visual flow and unity, especially in open-plan homes where different areas need to connect seamlessly.
Neutrals provide a versatile backdrop against which other, more vibrant colors can really pop. They also contribute to an overall sense of visual calm and continuity.
The book also briefly touches upon other classic color schemes analogous.
Colors next to each other on the wheel, like blue and green.
Split, complementary, and complementary.
Colors opposite each other, like blue and orange. High contrast.
And here's a really insightful takeaway. Understanding color perception allows you to strategically manipulate color to achieve a desired effect.
It's like a magic trick.
Sort of. For example, you can introduce a sense of warmth into a room painted in cool tones by incorporating furniture or flooring in warmer hues.
Ah, balancing the cool walls with warm woods or fabrics. This highlights the dynamic interplay of color within a space. Different elements influence our perception of the whole palette.
Shifting gears to style and lifestyle, the book acknowledges that defining personal style can often be more elusive than identifying functional needs,
Style is tricky. It's subjective.
and that most successful interiors end up being a blend of different influences. Eclectic, maybe?
Often, yeah. However, they make an interesting point that the most visually compelling interiors often have what they call off notes.
Off notes, like a sour note in music.
Kind of, but in a good way. those unexpected or slightly contrasting elements that prevent the space from feeling too predictable or one-dimensional. A little bit of tension.
Interesting. So it's not about perfect matching.
No. This concept of embracing a degree of eclecticism and incorporating slightly unexpected elements is often what imbues a space with personality, character, and individuality. Prevents it from feeling like a generic showroom.
They also emphasize that the same fundamental design concept and underlying color scheme can be skillfully applied throughout an entire home,
Creating a cohesive feel.
even using different materials, detailing, and finishes in each room to adapt to the specific function of the space.
Right, so the living room might be softer, more relaxed.
While a home office might prioritize more durable surfaces and focused lighting. Same concept, different execution.
And they discuss the traditional to modern spectrum of design, explaining how your stylistic leanings will naturally inform decisions about everything from architectural details to furniture silhouettes.
But different styles can feel similar.
Interestingly, yes. They note that different design styles can sometimes share a similar underlying spirit or feeling, even if their visual details and profiles differ significantly. Think relaxed California casual versus rustic farmhouse. Different looks, similar vibe.
This underscores the idea that effective design isn't just about rigidly adhering to specific stylistic rules.
It's more about capturing a certain desired feeling, mood, or essence that flows consistently throughout the home.
There's a really insightful quote in the book from Jim Druckmann.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about how a seasoned designer's lifetime of accumulated knowledge history, design principles, arts, culture, allows them to approach design challenges quickly and effectively.
That quote beautifully encapsulates the idea that truly great design isn't just intuition. It's built upon a solid foundation of knowledge, experience, and a deep understanding of the broader cultural context. It highlights the value of expertise.
Now, to keep all these intricate specifications and selections organized throughout a project, the book stresses the importance of using detailed spreadsheets and lists.
Schedules, we call them. Gotta stay organized.
They create initial inventories or schedules for all purchased items and any contracted labor. For example, a comprehensive finish schedule
Super important one.
will meticulously list everything from the specific wall paints to the flooring materials, noting the exact location, the manufacturer, and the precise spec number or color code.
So, living room wall paint. Benjamin Moore,
Uh-huh.
Chantilly lace, OC65. That level of detail.
Exactly. They also generate separate schedules for things like architectural hardware, doors, and windows.
Keeps track of every single item.
And importantly, these detailed schedules are then incorporated into the interior design intent drawings.
Which are like construction drawings, but focus specifically on the scope of the interior designer's work. Finishes, fixtures, furniture locations.
These meticulously detailed schedules and drawings serve as absolutely essential communication tools, don't they?
Throughout the entire project, they ensure all the intricate details are clearly and accurately documented, leaving no room for ambiguity. Allows for precise implementation by everyone involved.
When it comes to actually acquiring all the elements specified in the design, the book breaks down the various sourcing considerations.
Where do you get all this stuff?
Custom-made items, retail purchases, antiques and vintage finds, and resources available through the design trade.
Different paths to take.
Custom work, like a bespoke leather sofa tailored to specific dimensions, can often have longer production lead times
Takes time to make something unique.
and a higher cost compared to similar items available through retail channels.
Makes sense. Conversely, you can frequently find high-quality leather furniture at relatively reasonable prices from established retail stores. More accessible.
Each of these sourcing options offers its own unique set of pros and cons, right?
Yeah, in terms of cost, lead time, level of customization, and overall uniqueness. Understanding these key differences is crucial for making informed purchasing decisions that align with both the design vision and the project's practical constraints. Budget and timeline matter.
Antiques and vintage stores are particularly highlighted. Why?
Well, for the unique sense of history, inherent character, and commitment to sustainability they offer, it's the ultimate form of reuse.
Good point. Plus, they mention older pieces can often have a more delicate scale.
Yeah, which can be particularly advantageous in smaller living spaces. Older homes often had smaller rooms.
The potential downside, though, is finding the exact right piece.
It can sometimes feel like a treasure hunt, and often requires both patience and the ability to make quick decisions when you do come across something suitable. It might be the only one.
The inherent character, patina, and sustainable nature of antique and vintage finds can introduce a layer of depth, authenticity, and personality.
That is often difficult to replicate with newly manufactured items. It tells a story.
The book provides a strategic sourcing example from Katie Curtis's New York townhouse master bedroom,
Mixing it up.
illustrating how designers often combine different sourcing methods. She used a custom headboard and footboard,
They made to order.
an antique oriental rug, and a vintage crystal chandelier.
Found treasures.
Alongside a dresser and nightstand sourced from Noir, a trade-only resource with some retail availability and a quick ship option.
So custom, antique, and trader tale all in one room.
Mhm.
This example perfectly illustrates how a well-conceived interior design often incorporates a diverse range of sourcing strategies.
To get the right look, meet the budget, and hit the deadlines.
Exactly. Achieve the desired aesthetic, meet budgetary requirements, and adhere to project timelines. It's a balancing act.
And of course, all this talk of sourcing inevitably leads to the important topic of costs and pricing.
The money talk.
The book explains that vendors and workrooms frequently offer interior designers professional discounts.
Usually a percentage off the list or retail price.
Yeah.
That gives you the net price.
Right, typically ranging from 15 to 40% off. This trade discount then allows designers to establish their own pricing for their clients.
But how they mark it up needs to be clear.
Exactly. The specific markup method used must be clearly outlined and agreed upon in the client contract to ensure transparency.
Maintaining transparency in all aspects of pricing is absolutely essential for building and maintaining trust between the designer and the client.
No surprises.
Right. Clearly articulating how professional fees and product markups are calculated from the very beginning helps to avoid any potential misunderstandings later on.
The book also reminds you that various logistical factors, paperwork, coordination, shipping times, all affect the overall project schedule.
It's not just ordering, it's managing the whole process.
Even after an item has been fully manufactured and paid for, the final delivery can still take several weeks.
Shipping takes time, especially for large items or from overseas.
They also break down typical payment terms. Retail and fabrics usually full payment upfront.
Generally, yes.
Right.
While furniture and custom orders typically involve an initial deposit, maybe 50% based on the net price,
Okay.
with the remaining balance due upon notification that the items are ready for shipment, plus tax and delivery fees usually.
They even provide a general estimate for shipping, maybe around 15% of the item's net cost.
It's a rough guideline. Can vary a lot. And they point out that some states also collect sales tax on interior design services themselves.
Good to know. And a crucial term to understand is lead time.
That's the total time from when you place the order until the item actually arrives at your door or the warehouse. It can be weeks or even months for custom pieces.
Understanding these logistical and financial aspects seems crucial for managing expectations.
Absolutely. It's crucial for managing client expectations effectively and ensuring a smooth and predictable project flow. No one likes unexpected delays or costs.
Now, it's important to remember that even seemingly straightforward interior design projects often involve collaboration with others.
It's rarely a one-person show.
The book discusses the need to work closely with contractors and specialized workrooms, decorative painters, AV consultants, skilled mill workers who build custom cabinets.
All sorts of specialists. They use the example of what might seem like a simple powder room renovation,
Tiny room, right.
potentially requiring the expertise of multiple specialists. Plumber, electrician, tile setter, painter, maybe a wallpaper hanger to achieve the desired outcome.
Wow. So successful design often relies on a whole team.
The collective expertise of various skilled tradespeople. The designer acts as the central coordinator, the conductor of the orchestra, ensuring everyone involved is working collaboratively towards the shared project goals.
The book details the designer's important role in construction-related aspects too, right? From completing detailed intent drawings
That complements the architect's plans.
to actively identifying prospective general contractors. How do they find good GCs?
Through professional referrals, checking with building departments, industry publications, associations, even just observing signs in upscale neighborhoods where renovations are happening.
Okay. And they help with getting bids.
They play a key role in creating standardized bid sheets to ensure comparable proposals and in assisting the client with negotiating bids and ultimately selecting the GC.
And it's not just about the lowest price, is it?
Definitely not. It's based on factors like the reputation, trustworthiness, communication skills, and demonstrated ability to effectively resolve challenges that inevitably arise during construction.
And here's a really critical point to understand. Change orders.
Ah, yes. The dreaded change order, additional work orders, or AWOs.
These address any work that falls outside the scope of the originally agreed upon plans.
Happens all the time. Client changes their mind, unforeseen issue behind a wall.
The book strongly emphasizes that revised drawings and explicit client authorization are absolutely essential before any such additional work begins.
Get it in writing. Crucial for preventing misunderstandings, managing budgets effectively, and avoiding potentially significant cost overruns.
Change orders are a common reality then.
In many construction projects, yes. But maintaining clear, consistent communication and getting formal written authorization before work commences is vital for keeping everyone on the same page about scope and cost.
Finally, we arrive at the exciting final stages: delivery and installation.
The big reveal.
The book provides practical examples of the steps involved, like installing decorative hardware while furnishings are prepped in a warehouse,
Getting the details ready.
and carefully marking each package with its designated room. Reduces confusion on install day.
Absolutely. For the actual furniture installation, they recommend having a comprehensive inventory spreadsheet handy.
Check things off as they come in.
Right. Strategically positioning people at various entrances if needed, clearly directing delivery personnel to each item's final location,
Like traffic control.
and generally trying to work from the upper levels down and from the innermost rooms outwards.
Makes sense. Avoids tracking dirt through finished spaces. And they suggest big items first.
Ideally, yes. The largest and heaviest items should be the first ones moved in, assuming the delivery truck was loaded logically. Sometimes it isn't.
A well-organized delivery and installation process sounds key to minimizing stress.
And ensuring that all the meticulously selected design elements are placed correctly, efficiently, and according to the overall design plan. It's the final push.
The book then includes an incredibly detailed section exploring the fundamental elements of a room.
Whoa, that's a huge topic. Could be its own deep dive.
Seriously, they touch upon a vast range of components, from architectural woodwork like baseboards and moldings,
The trim details.
to essential architectural features such as fireplaces, windows, and doors.
This comprehensive section really highlights the many interconnected layers that contribute to a well-designed interior, from the foundational elements to the finishing touches.
Just focusing on architectural hardware for a moment: knobs, pulls, hinges.
The jewelry of the room.
They cover everything from the overall style, material, and finish to the importance of selecting the correct size, making sure it's proportional.
Don't want tiny knobs on huge doors.
The operational aspects, left-hand or right-hand swing, lock sets, and even accessibility, like choosing lever handles instead of knobs for easier use.
Universal design consideration. They list materials like brass, bronze, chrome, and discuss their properties, and emphasize sizing based on door thickness.
Even seemingly minor details like hardware play a surprisingly significant role, don't they?
In both the overall aesthetics and the everyday functionality of a space, you touch them all the time.
When it comes to flooring, the book goes into detail about various wood finishes: polyurethane with different sheens, bleached effects, cerused.
Where the grain is highlighted. Cool look.
Installation methods: gluing versus floating, then tile ceramic types, durable porcelain for high traffic, glazed versus unglazed, anti-slip finishes.
Crucial for bathrooms and kitchens.
And finally, stone, with finishes like honed, thermal, polished, tumbled. They even delve into design considerations like laying direction.
For reinforced axes or focal points.
Installation patterns like herringbone or checkerboard, grout joint width, and managing transitions smoothly between different materials.
The choice of flooring has a profound impact. Visual, tactile, durability, maintenance, acoustics, comfort. It affects everything.
With paint, they reiterate that thorough prep is crucial for a smooth finish. Factors like durability, coverage, fade resistance matter. For wall coverings, they highlight how they can simulate architectural details, add color, pattern, texture, and even hide minor wall imperfections.
A problem solver sometimes.
And they point out wall coverings aren't just for all four walls. Accent walls, niches, ceilings, bookcase backs.
Even upholstered walls for richness and sound absorption. They list materials, paper, vinyl, natural fibers, and raise key questions to consider when choosing.
Wall treatments offer a powerful way to dramatically transform a space, adding visual interest, depth, and even function.
Yeah, like acoustic dampening with upholstered walls.
Then they delve into fabrics and textiles: natural fibers, wool, silk, cotton, linen, synthetics, rayon, nylon, hybrids.
Lots of options. Discuss important attributes. Strength, resistance to pilling, color fastness, crocking.
Crocking, what's that?
Color rubbing off onto other things. Important for dark upholstery. They even mention the 510 pricing code designers sometimes see.
Cryptic. Moving to furniture and upholstery. Types like host versus side dining chairs, benches, sofas. Back cushion styles. Seat cushion construction.
Key factors for choosing upholstery, fabric weave density, backing, durability tests like Wiesenbeek and Martindale.
And a crucial reminder, buyer is responsible for measurements. Custom items usually non-returnable.
Measure twice, order once. This detailed understanding of fabrics and furniture construction is essential. Ensure selections are beautiful, durable, appropriate, and a good long-term investment.
They cover window treatments extensively too. Draperies, shades, blinds, shutters, myriad options for fabric, construction, trim.
Stress the critical importance of accurate drawings and specs for custom designs. Offer solutions for tricky windows like French doors or really long ones.
And soft floor coverings. Carpet broadloom versus modular tiles.
Tiles are great for replacing stained sections.
Rugs material, size, shape, construction, hand-knotted, machine-made. Pile type.
Loop versus cut pile affects look and durability. Even custom rug templates for odd spaces.
Window and floor coverings play a vital role. Light control, privacy, acoustics, comfort, overall aesthetic. Big impact pieces.
Absolutely.
Lighting, another crucial element. Emphasize a layered scheme. General, task, decorative.
Meet all three. Discuss fixture types, chandeliers, pendants, sconces, floatable lamps, recessed lighting, even lamp shades, shapes, materials.
Key placement considerations.
Yeah.
Hiding the bulb, shade at eye level, diffusers for soft light.
A thoughtfully designed lighting scheme is absolutely essential for both practical function and creating the desired mood and ambiance. Sets the tone.
And there's art and accessories. Hanging methods, arrangement strategies, linear, cluster, salon style.
Tips for choosing pieces that fit your decor and personality, varying scale, using accessories as connective tissue.
They even touch on collecting and connoisseurship, visiting museums, reading.
Art and accessories are the finishing touches that truly personalize a space. Reflect the inhabitants, add layers of meaning and visual interest, turns a room into a home.
And a really important section focuses on universal design.
Designing for everyone, all ages, all abilities.
Principles of physical usability, visibility, high contrast finishes, audibility, loud doorbells, safety like preventing scalding.
Reinterpreting healthcare features like non-slip flooring and flat entry showers for homes provides examples for various room elements.
Integrating universal design principles ensures our homes are inclusive, safe, and functional for everyone, regardless of age or ability. Supports quality of life for all. Finally, the book offers a room-by-room analysis, emphasizing each space needs the right lighting, flow, layout for its specific activities.
Tailoring design to function provides guidelines for dimensions but stresses they aren't rigid rules.
Covers entryways, living areas, seating, lighting, AV, storage, conversation zones, kids areas, work areas, desk height, outlets, storage.
Dining areas, usage, formality, lighting, passage space, art, rugs, table chair dimensions, kitchens, counters, backsplashes, display cabinets, cabinetry style.
Bedrooms, usage beyond sleep, dressing areas, ambiance, bed placement, nightstands, dimmable lights. Kids' rooms, flexibility, adaptability, storage, work areas, durable finishes.
Bathrooms, zones, open versus partition, vanity sink dimensions, lighting, even outdoor spaces, blurring indoor-outdoor lines with high-performance materials. Low maintenance is key. Site orientation and shade needs.
Wow. It's a truly comprehensive look at applying thoughtful design thinking everywhere.
This detailed room-by-room analysis really underscores the fundamental principle. Tailor the design to its specific functions and the unique needs and lifestyle of the homeowner. Dimensions are guidelines, not gospel.
So if we distill it all down, this deep dive into home, the foundations of enduring spaces, reveals that refining an interior design concept is far more than just picking pretty things.
Much more. It's a detailed, multi-stage process.
It begins with a deep understanding of who you are and how you live, progresses through meticulous analysis of your existing environment and possessions,
And culminates in the precise specification of every single element, always keeping your needs and the space's characteristics front and center.
And the crucial takeaway for you, our listener, is that gaining this understanding empowers you significantly.
Whether you're planning to collaborate with a professional designer or tackling a smaller home refresh project on your own,
Understanding this helps.
grasping the intricacies of this refinement process allows you to be more actively involved, ask more informed questions, and ultimately create a living space that is not only aesthetically pleasing,
That works for you.
but deeply functional, comfortable, and a true reflection of your personal style.
Here's a final thought to really ponder. Consider how consciously addressing even just one of these seemingly minor elements we discussed,
Why?
maybe the specific direction you choose to lay new flooring to subtly influence flow, or the deliberate way you maximize natural light. How could that fundamentally and dramatically alter the entire feeling and functionality of your own home?
The powerful question.
What single detail, if you were to really focus on it, do you think could have the most significant impact for you? Thanks for diving deep with us into this incredibly fascinating and multifaceted aspect of interior design.